Boom, stop! In episode 82 of Man Up, I answered the question of how do you handle loud nightclubs?
Masculinity for the intelligent man. I'm David Tian, Ph.D., and this is Man Up!
Hey, it's David Tian, Ph.D., and this is episode 80 through 82 of Man Up. I'm in Singapore, still recovering from my flu, just to explain the raspy voice. And also recovering from a tough workout today. So still sweating from that. And it was like, how long ago? It was like 7 hours ago I finished that workout. So that was a good workout. Anyway, question from the Facebook group from David. And it's a two-parter. I'll answer the first part in this video. The first part is, I have a question. Excuse me. Recently, I've been out at altitude. For people who don't know, that's a rooftop bar, for a VIP drinking session. I'm not sure what a VIP drinking session means. And was inundated by girls' compliments of newfound friends. I'm not sure what that means. Was inundated by girls' compliments of newfound friends. Okay, I couldn't handle the noise level and couldn't build any comfort or attraction. How do you talk in a place like this? It's so bad that I can't even get their names right. Was inundated by girls' compliments of newfound. Okay, I think he just, well, I'm just going to pretend like this means that he met a lot of girls. Okay, he met some, okay, so let's just, and I was inundated by girls' compliments of newfound friends. All right, so the question is, how do you handle the noise level in a club when you can't, how do you talk in a place like that? You can't even get their names right. Okay, now the fact that he used the words, like here's, I couldn't build any comfort or attraction, it tells me he hasn't been actually going through my material. It's really sad when I read this. Comfort or attraction. You'd only be using those terms like that if you're reading like an old mystery method book from the year 2006 or something. But whatever, right? He couldn't. So if you couldn't build any comfort or attraction, then how could you be inundated by girls' compliments of newfound friends? I'm not even sure what that means, but okay. So please fix up your English so I can at least understand what you're saying. But I'm going to appreciate your question, and I'm just going to assume the question means how do you talk in loud nightclubs? Okay, that's pretty normal. I get that a lot. In fact, I think I might have answered it previously, but I'll just answer this directly in terms of this question here from David. Altitude bar, guys, go ahead and Google it. It is a rooftop bar. It is not actually that loud. So, David, you have no idea how loud clubs can get if you think altitude is loud. It's an outdoor club. There's only so much, like the sound waves dissipate up. And there is like a sunken area where it can get kind of loud, but you really don't know how loud a club can be yet if you're using altitude as your basis of comparison. How do you talk in a place like this? So, well, okay. So the first part of the question is how do you handle the noise level? Well, just like you handle anything else, you got to get used to it. So, it's funny because I was talking about this with some other Singaporean guys because I sense a lot of laziness in Singapore, like Singaporean guys who are trying to figure out how to be better with women. And I'm, in fact, getting so much laziness coming out of that it's actually helped me to understand the worldwide phenomena of the post-PUA demographic, which is great because we're all post-PUA now, in case you hadn't noticed. There are still some hobbyists who insist on clinging to doing 1,000 approaches or more, and power to them. I think that's in the long run going to be an unhealthy practice, but you got to get it out of your system. So if you got to get it out of your system, you got to get it out of your system. But a lot of guys don't want to put any work into it. They think it'll be easy, fast. Maybe and I think this is a symptom of imbibing bad marketing. I think if you can get the same results from having done 1,000, from doing 100 approaches as doing 1,000. I think that's a significant accomplishment. And my old programs, I was able to say, look, I can reduce your time by 90% to get you the result. That in itself is an incredible accomplishment. Okay, but some guys now don't even want to do 2 approaches. Like, they'd learn to get an opener, and I would say do it 20 times, because that's, their newbie practice, 5 years ago in the Total Transformation Program was the first month do, 20 approaches in the first month. Very manageable. It's just like 1 a day for 5 days a week for 4 weeks. It's 20. 5 times 4 is 20. You do 1 a day, and you get 20. That's like the bare minimum. And then, like I said, if you're really motivated, you want to get results faster, do 100. Do 5 a day. I do, back when I was getting better, I would do 10 a day or a night, and obviously the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. But then again, my standards in life were a lot higher than these guys, and my standards for getting better with women, for my mentors and guys that I knew who were going in that journey with me back in like 2005 and 2005, 06, 07, 08, were the same. They were all working real hard. We'd go out and we would, it never occurred to me that it would be easy. It never occurred to me that personality change and transformation would be easy. And make no mistake, I knew that the problem was that my personality was not attractive. I know all these guys going around thinking they can just say a few words to a girl, and by the way, I've actually pared it down to that based on science, and there it is, some few words, but that's not going to get you all the way. You say a few words, but if you don't have the personality to back it up, it's going to be, you're basically faking your way through, and no one wants to do that. So I knew the problem was that I wasn't easygoing enough, I wasn't adventurous enough, I wasn't assertive enough, I wasn't enough of a leader, I wasn't initiative taking enough, I wasn't sexy enough, I had too many hang-ups over sex, I had too many insecurities, and so I had to get over all of these things, and I had to be funny, okay, and I had to be witty, and I went and worked at it. Like anything else in life, you want to be good at basketball, you got to put in the time, you got to take your shots, you got to practice, you got to hit the court, you got to take your shots, you got to do it thousands of times. You want to get good at what's something that is popular here. You want to get good at coding, you got to sit there and you got to fucking code for hours and hours a day. You want to get good at math, you got to do the math. You can't just read the book. Now you all understand that. You can't master math, you can't get A's in math unless you do the problem sets. You can't just read it. Well, maybe there's like 1% of people who it comes naturally to. But even then, when they get to the Ph.D. level, they're going to need to work. And anything in life that you want, you have to fucking work at it. You see how frustrating it is? This is the reason why I can't, I prefer to do it like this, because sometimes when I see a guy who's just lazy as fuck, I just get frustrated, because it's just like, and he wants it easy and fast. And I tell him, it takes work. But if he's not prepared to put the work in, then I'm not prepared to work with him. Simple as that. You want the teacher to respect you? Then fucking work hard. All right, so, yeah, go to the club. I didn't go clubbing. I hadn't stepped foot in a club till I was 30 years old. Let that sink in for you. I had not yet stepped foot in a club, with the exception of my bachelor party when I was 24, 5. But we pre-drank so much at Peel Pub, a beer, that I barely remember the club. I got pretty wasted that night. Don't even remember it. The first time I consciously, soberly stepped into a club was 30 years old. And was it natural to me? Heck no. Was it... did I expect to walk in and just like, it's like walking into my living room? I did not expect that. Why? How could it be that easy? It's not. So I went and worked at it. It was fucking loud. So I had to keep, it's like when you're in the military, and if you're in Singapore, David, you should know, you got to be able to think clearly, so that even when there are bombs going off, grenades going off, people shooting at you, and that's called training, right? So you desensitize yourself to it. So over time, your brain learns to filter out the sounds that are not relevant to what you want to do, right? And you can focus. This is the same with everything. Scuba diving, driving, everything. Your brain learns to focus on the thing that you want to focus on, which is the conversation at hand. Now, if your ears are not working, then you have to desensitize yourself to that environment, right? So just go more often. turn music up louder. Now, I got lucky because I went to performing arts high school, and like I pointed out in a previous video, I was in bands, like very loud bands. Like it's basically, we were a jazz band. So, you know, I was like sitting behind the drummer, and the drummer is fucking loud, right? There's like, you can't muffle that, and in fact, they will amplify it, right? And you got the bass, you got the trumpets, you got 5 trumpets, 5 trombones, you know, 4 other saxophones playing with you, and everyone's just jamming at it, and you have no earplugs, and I got used to it. Just got used to it, and I was able to hear, after a while, I was able to hear the 4th trumpet and what they were playing. I was able to hear above the cacophony of the noise, the main line, the main melody. When I stood up to do my solo, I could hear the harmony from the bassist while listening simultaneously to what the drummer was laying down, and simultaneously to the harmonies that the piano was laying out, so I could keep track of where I was. And that is all happening in the brain. So the ears are used as devices to get input into the brain. The brain then sifts out irrelevant input and takes in the relevant input, and that's how you learn. Okay, so if it's important for you to go meet women at bars and clubs, and I'm not saying you need to. Okay, so let's make that clear. I'm not. If you just don't like it, if it's not worth it to you, then don't go. If it's not worth it to you to meet women at bars and clubs, you don't like the women that are there. If it's not worth it for you, then don't go. Go meet women in the salsa class, in the improv comedy class, in the acting class, in the Starbucks, on the street, whatever. No one said you had to go to bars and clubs. But if you want to meet women in bars and clubs, then you have to fucking work at it. Fucking lazy, man. I can't fucking take this anymore. So go and work at it, all right? That means you got to get used to the sound. So go. It might take you 20 exposures before you can, your brain gets used to it's filtering out the bad, or filtering out irrelevant info and hearing and analyzing the relevant info from the girl. So your ears will get more attuned to it. Good. Now, secondly, you can't get their names right because you can't hear their names. Oh, well, that's along the lines of listening. And then probably if you can't hear, they can't hear you. So your projection probably sucks. Again, I got really lucky that my family is quite musical. And again, my extended family is musical. Almost all my friends are musical. Okay, so I didn't think it was unusual, but now I realize it is unusual. I'm very blessed by that. And I have to give all praise to my parents and our community for making all those Asian American and Asian Canadian kids take piano and violin lessons when they were kids, right? So one of those things is vocal. So I had to join the church choir from a young age as part of the requirements for the performing arts high school I was in. Even though I was a saxophone player, I had to join one of the choirs. So that was that was a requirement. So I learned to sing. I learned to project my voice. I learned to do that through music. You can also do it through music, and I highly recommend you do that. However, you can also do it through, I think, through like Toastmasters. You can also join a method acting or like an acting class, and I recommend method acting. They will help you with your projection and your articulation. I think especially every Singaporean needs help with articulation. As well, and I think every person could use help with projection. Unless you had musical training or an artistic, or drama in your background, you could do with some projection. Also, being able to modulate the tone of your voice, make it lower, make it higher. Being able to do that even with a raspy, flu voice. Those are all, I think. I know those are good skills to have. And again, going back to the earlier episode about overthinking things, one of the reasons y'all overthink things is because you haven't done enough with your life. Pack it in. You have as much time as Elon Musk. You're going to hear me say that over and over and over. That's something I say to myself whenever I come up with excuses like, I don't have time to write whatever, or do this or that, or meet so-and-so, or coach so-and-so. I have as much time as Elon Musk. And look what he's done. I have as much time as Mark Zuckerberg, and look what he's done. From the time that I started getting better with women till now, Mark Zuckerberg basically created Facebook till now. He started Facebook, I think, a year after, or maybe a year before I started studying social psychology. So there you go. I'm just as guilty as any of you. I haven't done enough. I don't aspire to be a billionaire, but I mean, look at what they can do with their time. So you have no excuse. Pack it in. Take vocal lessons. Go take method acting classes. Take improv acting classes. Join a fucking band for all I care. Do all of those things. You have the time to do it. And then if you really enjoy the bars and clubs, you want to meet women there, then go to bars and clubs. Set aside 3 times a week to go and acclimate yourself to those environments. Okay? Acclimate yourself to those environments. If that is, you want to meet women there. And, it's up to you whether you want to do that. But it'll take work. All right? Just like anything else in life worth getting. It takes work. Just work smart so that you get your goal at the end of that time. A lot of people don't work smart. They just, they don't work hard and they don't work smart. They do neither. But a travesty is to work hard and then not get the goal because you didn't follow the right instructions. And that's why I offer coaching. I don't promise it to be easy. I promise it to, if you follow the program, you'll get the results. And then once you get to the end of that program, you get the result is it becomes natural and becomes assimilated into your brain and into your body, into your nervous system, so that you just do whatever you want, say whatever you want, and it will draw the right women into your life. So that's the promise, and I've been delivering on that promise for over 10 years. Take me up on it, all right, so I can guide you along those lines. But no matter what, it's going to take work, okay? All right, it's going to take you to go, it's going to require you, just like anything else in life, you're going to have to practice, okay? Just like everything else in life. All right, so join the private Facebook group, click on the link, join the group. I'll see you inside the group. Ask me your question personally. Sometimes I'll answer them right away, right there in the comments of your question. So I'll see you inside the private Facebook group. Until next time, man up.